Hi, Shannon.
Hi, Byron.
Thanks for having me over here to your home on the golf course here in Whispering Palms.
Thank you. I've loved this home since 2004, and I love living in Whispering Palms.
Well, it's obvious why when you look out here. It's beautiful.
Thank you.
I stopped by today because I wanted to talk to you about your objectives.
Okay.
Okay, I know you're running for the board of the service district.
Yes.
And these are things you want to accomplish when you're voted on the board.
Yes.
So please tell us a little bit about those.
Well, my first objective that I would like to try to accomplish if I'm on the Whispering Palms Community Service District is really improving the values of our home. I believe that I have an intrinsic knowledge of how to do that. And I want to talk about first that first impression that you get when you come into Whispering Palms. I think that says a million things the minute that you drive in, is how Whispering Palms is presented to you. And I think that there's a way to improve the look, the feel of that median, the center median Whispering Palms, without losing the iconic beauty and look of what Whispering Palms has always been known for. The other thing about raising the values in this neighborhood, I feel, is that when you do drive into Whispering Palms, right now, as even a realtor, I see your eye is always diverted to the right where the shopping center is driving into Concha de Golf. I would like to create a center median that is so beautiful with drought-resistant, water-resistant plants in the center median, included with, and that would be like low shrubbery, included with palm trees that really rivals vintage Indian wells, some of the most beautiful center medians that I have researched in the country. I think we can do it, and I think we can make Whispering Palms look like $1 million the minute you drive in. Whether you're coming in to go to the shopping center, whether you're coming in to see your dentist, whether you're coming into the country club, or whether you're coming to visit a friend, I think we can really improve the look of that entrance.
Really good point, particularly your idea about first impressions.
Oh, I think it's so important, and I see people's impressions when they come in. I just think there's a lot of room for opportunity there. I would like to commend the Community Service District on doing a wonderful job, and you really are instrumental in that, of growing the landscaping that borders Via de la Valle. I've been a golf member for 23 years, and I remember playing on the golf course when there was absolutely nothing between the golf course and Via de la Valle, and feeling very exposed as a golfer, as well as knowing that the residents that live on Via Monterey, Via Pacifica, Avenida Calma, and Via Valley Verde are exposed to the road noise, the headlights. And you know, the Community Service District, you guys really took the helm and started with the Texas privets, and now there's a whole nother line of trees behind that I can easily see in 5 to 7 years that we are going to absolutely not see any headlights anymore, not hear the traffic, and I just really want to commend you that we really have seen an improvement on it and feeling isolated in our beauty without being so exposed to Via de la Valle.
Well, that was unanimous work by the board.
Great.
I know you've spent your time here selling homes and have sold, what, 47 homes?
I've sold, actually, I looked up the number the other day. I think over 47 homes since 2006 in this neighborhood.
Well, you know what affects home values here.
Yes.
And I think my perspective and a number of other people's is a relatively small investment in the things like the foliage along Via de la Valle and the center median particularly would multiply itself into significantly increased home values here in the community. I'd be interested in your feelings about that or thoughts.
Absolutely. And I actually keep Excel spreadsheets of the past 15 years of sales. And what I have noticed is I can actually calculate a differential on the homes of non-golf course versus golf course. And I would be very comfortable in saying that with an improved center median that really looks lovely, that's going to improve the cost of homes at least $100,000 to $300,000.
Wow.
Yes, I mean, if you look at the difference of the homes in the Covenant that are literally right across Via de la Valle in 2 fairways over on Las Palomas, those homes, I just looked at one today that is on the market for $2.3 million that isn't even half as nice as any of ours in here. So why are those homes so much more expensive? It's because of the landscaping that the Covenant offers that we just don't offer. But we could. That's the beauty. I mean, on that center, I mean, the Community Service District is doing a great job already along the Via de la Valle corridor. But just driving right into the community, that's where we can have a huge difference, and it will transfer in the independent values of the homes, especially for residents at Belmundo and the residents of Alcala and the residents of the villas and Villas 1 that are directly in the line of the first viewpoint as you're driving into the community.
No, I think you're absolutely right about that. I know one of your objectives is to reduce the cost of operating the wastewater treatment facility.
Yes.
Right? And one of the benefits I know you're trying to achieve there is maintaining our very low sewer fees here in Whispering Palms.
Yes.
And you have some thoughts about that.
Yes, you know, we do have great low fees with the our sewer fees that we have right now. And I've looked a little bit at the wastewater treatment facility. I looked at some of the budgets on it, that it costs probably, approximately about $120,000, $130,000 to run that.
For electricity alone.
For electricity alone. And I also noticed that the bordering property that's owned by the Gates family is actually using, or we're selling them approximately about $80,000 of reclaimed water annually.
Yes.
Now, being on the San Diego planning group, I do happen to know that that property is potentially going to be developed from horse property to estate property. So that $80,000 may not be coming to the Whispering Palms Community Service District in the future. That's how I know that. So I think that we need to look and further delve into the solar possibilities that to run that wastewater treatment facility that could reduce our costs up to $100,000 a year. And I think it has been looked at in the past, but one of my objectives would be to really research it further with several solar companies and see if we can reduce the costs on that.
That's a wonderful idea, and it's the most obvious source of reducing cost over there.
Yes.
So you would get a great deal of support for that idea.
I think so. I think that it's a no-brainer to go solar on that facility. And you know, taking a year into researching it, we should absolutely be able to do that.
I know one of your objectives is to reduce the liability for individual homeowners and the district here. Particularly as we look to the age of the palm trees in the median. Please tell us a little more about what your objective is and how you would accomplish that.
Well, Byron, it's not an easy discussion to have. I've been to several of the meetings with the residents over the years when the Save Our Palms campaign was happening. And the truth is, the Community Service District has 3 separate arborist reports on the condition of the trees. So not only does the neighborhood, but the Community Service District and the board all has knowledge that several, if not a majority of those trees are diseased. Now, I was here the day when we had the high winds and the one tree fell right into the fountain on Via de la Valle in Whispering Palms. I was here that day and saw all the wreckage of all the trees and and it wasn't even a significant windstorm as other areas does have and we may have in the future. So the Community Service District, and thus every resident, it could be liable if any of those palm trees in high winds, earthquake, you name it, falls and injures either a child, an individual, hits a car. And then there are several of the palm trees. If you look, I mean, I've looked really carefully at them. There's a significant amount of palm trees that are leaning in the direction in the center median towards Villas 1. If something major was to happen, you might get 2 or 3 or 4 of those trees landing and crushing roofs with people in them. So my feeling, Byron, is that because we have knowledge about the trees, that we ultimately are responsible if something does happen and one of those palm trees does fall, or several, on either an individual, a car, a house in Villas 1. Now, where the individual liability for each resident comes into this, that in case something does happen, our sewer fees is where we would be able to recoup the money for a lawsuit if we were sued. So we really are risking the low sewer fees in exchange for keeping these existing palm trees that could possibly fall over. I love the palm trees and I love the look, and I don't ever want to lose that look of whispering palms. So I am absolutely in favor of replacing the trees that need to be replaced, as well as putting in and enhancing that look with drought-tolerant shrubbery, because it is against a lot of water in the state of California in the center median now. Something that is drought tolerant, that really looks beautiful, and it has an impactful presence when you're driving in.
Nope, I think that everybody in the community would benefit from that.
Oh, it would just look lovely. It would look lovely. So when I think about the other candidates, everybody's talking about fiscal responsibility. I think I've told you exactly where, for me, fiscally responsibly, my objectives would be. I have a clear, cut, and concise plan of what we can do to really be fiscally responsible.
And as I listen to you, Shannon, one of the things that comes through loud and clear is that by replacing the diseased palms and beautifying the median, we can, on one hand, beautify the community and at the same time eliminate our liability.
Absolutely. It's a win-win.
Shannon, I know that you've been involved with a number of the community organizations here, and not just in the last couple of years, but for a long time.
Yes.
Tell us a little bit about those organizations and what you've accomplished while being a member there.
Okay. I think what I'm most proud about is saving the Whispering Palms Community Council. The Greens Board at a time wanted to dissolve the Whispering Palms Community Council. And the council is so vital to this community because it is the only official body that the county supervisors as well as the county planners recognize. And that is written in the San Diego General Plan. So if Whispering Palms wants to officially object to widening of Via de la Valle or the 250 unit complex that's being proposed down off Del Dio, the county supervisors and the planners only listen to the voice of the Whispering Palms Community Council. One of my running mates actually tried to close the Whispering Palms Community Council, but I knew how valuable that voice is. So I'm very proud of that, and we have actually used that voice that we partnered with San Diego Planning Group to have a voice of our opinion as a community on the step-down facility that was being proposed at Calzada de Bosque, on the corner of Calzada de Bosque and Via de la Valle. I'm very proud of that, and I'm very proud that we brought the developer as well as the opponents of that project in two separate forums so that the community could actually hear and form their own ideas and decide whether to sign it. I sit on that board with you, and I'm very proud that you're the president. And I'm very proud to be the secretary, even though I'm a lousy secretary, to do that. And I'm happy. I've done it for years with you, and I think that we've made some great strides with the council.
We have. At the same time, I must tell everybody that Shannon is the energy core of that organization. So,
well, and I'm very proud that we're getting ready to distribute our Whispering Palms directory, which I happen to be. This is my third directory that I've gone door to door and worked with everyone to update. And the reason the directory is so important is because not only is it a community enhancing vehicle for us to know who our neighbors are, but as the Whispering Palms Community Council gets ready to launch a neighborhood watch program, that directory becomes very significant key in that as we know who our neighbors are and get to know them. So those two things I'm very proud of. I also serve on the Whispering Palms, the Greens Board, which is the HOA for the detached homes. We're going into very uncharted areas going forward as our CC&Rs and our declarations for each individual community are getting ready to expire over the next 10, 15 years. So we need to, as a community, decide with the detached homes if we're going to create new CC&Rs and restrictions, or if we're not. So I'm very proud to be a part of that. It's not an easy, it's an uphill climb. It's not going to be easy, but I'm glad to be there and be a voice of the neighborhood for that. I also sit on the San Diego Planning Group, and that is a very crucial role. I've served 4 years to sit on the board because the county supervisors and county planners also listen to the San Diego Planning Group's recommendations for pending projects, pending highways, developments, anything environmental. So I am the eyes and the ears for the Whispering Palms community. I sit in those meetings the past 4 years, and I just agreed to do another 4 years. Sit in those meetings to find and hear and represent Whispering Palms, that if there is anything that is going to affect our way of living, our quality of lifestyle, our traffic, noise, pollution, I am there on that board, representing Whispering Palms and making sure that we maintain this quality of life. So I have been a little involved. I do have to tell you, my fiance is not really thrilled about all the nights I sit on these boards, but I do think it serves a purpose. And I'm very proud to give back to Whispering Palms. Yes, I'm a realtor. I admit it. But I'm giving back to the community that I make a living in, and to enhance the values of this community, be part of the Whispering Palms Community Service District, and using that as a platform to be able to improve the values and reduce the liabilities and keep our sewer fees as low as they are, which is phenomenal. I think they're $400 per resident per year. I mean,
yes.
It's unheard of how low it is.
Yes, they may be the lowest in the county.
I think that they are. I mean, as far as everything that I've read, they are. So I think we live in a really special area, and I do want to be a part and donate my time to keep it as great as it is, and even make it better.
Wonderful.
I've enjoyed this time with you, Byron, so much. Thank
Same
you.
here.
Thank you for talking with me today.
Always a pleasure.
Thank you.